It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America and around the planet, he is Eric Harley and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. You know, I was just reading here an umbrella issue here about the election coming up, and it was Jim Garrity's column, National Review. Biden's misreading of the electorate. Perhaps the single biggest advantage that Donald Trump and the Republican Party enjoy in 2024 is that many in the Democratic Party leadership cannot distinguish between their personal top priorities and the top priorities of the electorate.
Wow.
In poll after poll after poll, when you ask Americans what issue is most important to them, the economy is the most common answer. Immigration and border come in second. Behind that come abortion, saving democracy, and other issues. Israel and Palestine rarely come up. New York Times Siena poll did 6 swing states. What issue is the most important in deciding your vote this November? 21% answered the economy, jobs, or the stock market. A separate 7%. Inflation, the cost of living. 12% immigration. 11% abortion. I can only give one answer to this question. Middle East, Israel, Palestine, 2%. That was it.
Okay.
And so they talk about young people, but they say the young people, 18 to 24, are such a small part of the electorate. And if you go, where it's double the size, which is, adults, it's like 50 to 13%. It's like, so that issue doesn't benefit, them at all. They said you have to hand it to those protesting college kids. They've hoodwinked President Biden, his campaign team, the White House staff, and apparently large chunks of the media into believing they represent a teeming mass of America's young people. They say only 8% of college students say they've participated in some sort in the protest, which means 92% have not. They said, you don't see the kids studying and ticked off about it. All you see is the protest. And they say they're a very small portion of it. The television cameras capture the students on the quad. They don't capture all the kids studying for their exam in their dorms. Biden is alienating the majority to win back votes among a small minority that that has chosen to nickname him Genocide Joe. And yet, a subheading of the Times article about the poll reads, a new set of Times Siena polls, including one with the Philadelphia Inquirer, reveal an erosion of support for the president among young and non-white voters upset about the economy and Gaza. The assessment is contradicted by figures in the 27th paragraph of the article. Around 13% of the voters who say they voted for Mr. Biden last time do not plan to vote for him again, said that his foreign policy or the war in Gaza was the most important issue to their vote. Just 17% of those voters reported sympathizing with Israel over the Palestinians. Those are not big numbers. The loyal Democrats who chose not to vote for Biden because of Gaza exist, but they're few and far between. They're not the pivotal swing voters in this election. The pivotal swing voters of this election are more like this guy spotlighted in the Times article. The Biden administration's insistence that the economy is faring well has fallen flat for many voters, including Jacob Sprague, 32 years of age, who works as a systems engineer in Reno. He says he voted for Mr. Biden in 2020, but will not be doing so this time. It is concerning to me when I keep seeing press come out of the White House where they say the economy is good. That's really weird because I'm paying more on taxes, more on groceries, more on housing, more on fuel, so it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
As I've noted a few times this year, Trump's lead in the polls in Nevada has been so consistent and so large that I am skeptical that Nevada really counts as a swing state anymore. My assessment of North Carolina is similar. Here's where I would disagree with Jim, though, and it's a small point, where he said Biden is being hoodwinked. No, he's not, and neither is the White House, and neither are the Democrats. They are anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
That's their viewpoint.
No, this
isn't a thing where they're neutral on this and trying to figure out. They're not Clinton. Where are the polls going today? I'll go over there.
Mm-hmm.
Was that bad?
Yeah. We'll talk later.
Okay. Gary, you need to be professional on the air, and that Clinton impersonation was not. Professionalism is the key to the show.
Well, because it was Clinton, it doesn't matter.
That is true. Anybody can do Clinton. All you got to do is do the throw.
You're going to eat those fries. You're going to eat those fries.
But it's not where he's waiting for the wind to blow. That's why they all wrote the anonymous letter, and then the 500 members of the bureaucrats in his administration for a ceasefire immediately early on, because they're anti-Israel, they're anti-Semitic, they're pro-terrorist. That's how they feel. Right. So that's why they're more likely to fall to that position. Is that's their position.
Right. Yeah.
They do understand that the majority is against their position, but it's their position, so they're always going to hold on to it.
Yeah, right.
Because you can't make the political case. We said this in the very beginning. You can't make the political case that it's a smart move in order to save Dearborn and Michigan to alienate every other swing state.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. It never has. And so the only reason you come to that conclusion is the fact that, well, number one, by the things that they've done and said and their behavior from the very beginning before this even happened, which was opening up money to Iran, which funds the proxies. We played the Ted Cruz cut earlier on the show today where he just went nuts at Secretary of State Blinken. Blinken really had no answers. He was playing, both sides. Oh, no, we're support Israel. Yeah, but you didn't support Israel. You said they should not retaliate.
By the way, he plays both sides much better than he does guitar. That's a true story.
Hey, my, rock and roll will certainly die if it sounds like this.
Mm-hmm.
I love how I get people ticked off. There's a lot of Neil Young fans every time I do that. Stop insulting Neil Young. Oh, that's what makes you passionate. Huh?
I don't. Neil Young's music insults Neil Young. See?
I did say I liked Heart of Gold.
See what I did?
I liked Heart of Gold when it came out.
I don't dislike his music.
When I was a kid in high school.
I'm just kidding. I dislike his music. It's not one way or the other for me. I'm neutral on Neil Young's music. It's Neil Young's weird mindset.
You want to know what my bias was?
What?
My bias was when I was in college. Now, I was a club DJ playing rock. But we go to these other bars, and they'd always play, like, Neil Young stuff when you're supposed to be jamming.
Right.
And it was like, no, it doesn't fit, guys.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, it's...
Hey, my, rock and roll will never die is not exactly a tune that you want to play when you're trying to get people to do shots.
Well, here's the thing. It's angry folk music. That's the best way I can describe Neil Young. Because Crosby, Stills, Nash, Young, that was folk kind of venturing into rock.
No, I will say this. The same bars that would play Neil Young, though, when they'd play Sweet Judy Blue Eyes and the whole bar would go crazy.
Oh, yeah. Great song.
Absolutely crazy.
Sure. Yeah.
Everybody would be doing it, even though I'd sit there and go, all right, look that way. Gary, were you doing the No, not. I mean, I'm not. No.
Yeah, no.
I'm not going to. Folk rock, come on. I'm a prog rock guy. Great harmonies. Just superb. That was superb.
No, it's a great
at the
song.
End of that song.
Great song.
But and then I saw the other just yesterday, Randy Bachman saying, with his arm around Neil Young, we've been friends since the very beginning. I'm like, no.
Well, but Randy Bachman's a Canadian. He's friends with everybody.
That's true.
He's just one of those guys. Friendly guy.
I always get looks when I say, well, Rick James played with John Fogerty. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At one time. People are like, no way. I go, yeah, they did.
Mm-hmm.
They were in the same band in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Go, what? Nah, that's okay. I mean, I don't. I liked Neil Young was good in his in Dave Grohl's documentary about the studio.
Yeah.
He had some pretty good points, I think.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I don't, as a musician,
about music.
Respect
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just disagree with him politically. That's it.
But yeah, so I think that here, I mean, the only thing I would say Garrity's wrong at is that he's saying that they've miscalculated. Well, of course they've miscalculated, but why did they miscalculate on what they thought the American public felt on taking the side of Israel versus Hamas?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that should have been clear from the very beginning because the polls in the very beginning really have not changed much at all.
Right.
And since the protests have started, they've gone the opposite direction. They're not being hoodwinked. They know it, but that's what they believe. They're anti-Semites.
Yeah.
That's why they believe it.
Right.
So,
yep.
But the overall thing, as we've said, Trump's biggest blessing is Democrats only listen to themselves. And you can look at it where, Joy Behar said it yesterday, that she won't say anything bad about Biden, even though she wants to, because she just won't. They won't criticize their own. They sit in the bubble of their own. It's like Morning Joe yesterday bringing on Comey.
Yeah.
Like Comey's going to change anything. Trump isn't for democracy. I'm James Comey. Oh, you mean the perfect example of complete stink rot in the FBI?
Yet no one can point to the law he's broken.
No, you can't.
All they can do is say these meaningless things that all translate into, I don't like Trump. Yeah, we get that.
But I do think the one thing that's absolutely right in this article is when he points out, and we've said this for the longest time, and I believe that this is as close to, when we analyze something, as close as you can get to 100%.
Yeah.
What's really ticking off people about the Biden administration. There's a ton of things, and it's not even lawfare. It's about the fact that everybody feels inflation, and to them it means the economy sucks, and they're basically being gaslighted by the administration saying, we don't see why you people don't see this. It's doing great. And that's exactly what the one person who he mentioned in that poll that they actually talked to, who said, no, I can't handle it. I voted for him, and he keeps telling me the economy is great, and it's not.
Right.
That affects everybody.
Yep.
Which is why, and immigration, again, has become, I saw a Democrat out there. It was somebody. It was one of the new campaign people for Biden. Every state is not a border state. Like,
yeah, it is.
Go. You try to.
Yeah, it is.
Try to win that one. Go ahead.
Go tell the people of those states.
Yeah,
and make sure you go to every state, because every state is a border state.
Because they've almost every state's been affected by it now.
Right.
And so that's the point. That's the political point. And by you screaming that doesn't change the fact that people see it happening. Why? Because as we said, the first thing when you had Governor Abbott and then Governor DeSantis of Florida start saying, you want to go to different places?
Right.
We said we go now.
By the way, voluntarily.
And we said this is going to become a huge issue. We got some response. The national media won't cover it. We said doesn't matter. The local media will.
Yep.
Local TV stations always finding something.
Yep.
And so they're all over that.
Yep.
And that's what has made that a national issue, which is why every state now is a border state.
Yep.
Because they have felt it.
Right.
And I can see, well, but it's not, because they're not on the border of Mexico or Canada. So you're wrong on that. Okay. Keep trying to sell that one. Go ahead.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See how that works for you.
Right.
Yeah. So that is the problem. They're still arguing the same points that haven't worked for them. And, MSNBC, let's bring back James Comey.
Yeah. Again, they're lost when they have to do that.
Yeah.
Of all the people.
Well, it's even Bill Maher bringing up the election again. People have already weighed all that. That's already been, they've already digested all of that.
Well, we said for the longest time, January 6th, and the images from January 6th were going to be played out by the Democrats over and over again. But thanks to Alvin Bragg, that's over.
Oh, by the way,
the images will still be used, but it's not going to have the same impact.
Fonnie Willis winning 87-13.
Yep.
In her primary battle. So
yep.
Understand that Democratic voters love lawfare. They love going after the political opposition by creating crimes.
They're all of these individuals, these elected officials that are enacting this lawfare against former President Trump are fulfilling campaign promises.
Right. 866-90 Red Eye.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by House Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
And now, more outdoor grilling goofs. Yes, you did everything right. You used a food thermometer to make sure you cooked that meat and poultry to an internal temperature hot enough to kill any bacteria that might have been in it. You used one set of platters and utensils to handle the raw meat and poultry, a different set for the cooked product to avoid cross-contamination. But there is still a way to mess things up, right?
Yep.
Yep. Meredith Carruthers, Agriculture Department food safety expert, says one of the biggest goofs, is leaving that grilled meat and poultry out at room temperature for too long at the mercy of bacteria in the air or from people's hands or any place. 2 hours is the absolute longest.
Because that's a time frame where bacteria can then reach dangerous levels, and ultimately then, if they reach those dangerous levels, they may not be able to be killed by reheating or cooking further or anything like that. So then you're kind of stuck with them.
And if the temperature is 90 degrees or above,
then that time frame actually bumps down to 1 hour.
So she says either put that food on ice or keep it very hot. Gary Crawford for the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90 Red Eye on Red Eye Radio.
Red Eye Radio, he's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Well, we heard the other day, Eric, that McDonald's is coming out with their $5 value meal.
Yeah.
McDonald's franchisee group says $5 value meal cannot last without company investment, without the company giving the franchisees money. They're weighing in on the company, the independent advocacy group of the McDonald's franchisees is weighing in on the company's upcoming value meal promotion, cheering affordability for the consumer, but pushing for contribution from the company to make the discounted offering sustainable for operators in the long run. The fact remains that in order to provide the consumer with more affordable options, they must be affordable for owner-operators. McDonald's vast resources and financial investment are essential to any sustainable, affordable strategy, the board of the National Owners Association wrote in a letter to membership. That's really incredible. What they're saying is we can't even afford a promotion.
Yeah. And there really is no value meal because, or value menu anymore. You just have to decide if you want to go hungry or not. The best value is to fast because everything costs so much more.
Call and join the conversation. 1-866-90-RED-EYE. Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome. Good morning. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you.
Just, again, looking at just some of the inflation stuff out there. There was a Fed survey saying parents are being hit the hardest by inflation.
Yeah, which makes sense. I mean, one of the things that you and I have discussed is that, first of all, having kids is expensive. It's very expensive. You go through, I don't know how many different times per year where there are things you just have to have for your kids. You're supposed to feed them weekly, I think, if I remember correctly. I haven't done it in a while. You've got to buy school clothes for them. Then Christmas comes around, birthday comes around, extracurricular activities. And even the simplest of those extracurricular activities is going to cost you money. And everything is so much more expensive. And the schools send home a whole list of things, especially at the beginning of the school year. Here's all the things you need to go buy. And, of course, you got to go do it. You got to go get all the school supplies for them. And then you've got to get the clothes. You've got to make sure that they have plenty of clothes. And then feeding them, it is just, I can't imagine. I'm constantly talking to my three oldest who all have children about, what it takes. And it's a constant effort. It is a constant battle to stay up with inflation. The Wall Street Journal had one version of it. I think Fox Business had it. I don't know if they were launching off of this. It's the same report, I think. I don't know if they were launching off the Wall Street Journal's coverage or not. I'd have to see it. But from the Wall Street Journal, parents are feeling the pain of inflation and child care costs. I can't imagine child care right now. All of my adult children, none of their children are in daycare, in child care, paying for the child care itself. Again, just sending them to a public school, the cost of everything, clothes, supplies, and it's something all the time, and it really is never ending. So about 64% of parents living with children under the age of 18 said they were doing all right financially in 2023, down from 69% in 2022, according to a survey released Tuesday by the Federal Reserve.
The one thing that I saw, and this is, there was an interviewer with a guy who owns restaurants, and he said that maintenance and service, to repair things, up 50%.
Yeah.
Since pre-COVID.
Right.
And he said, for example, and they have fryers. If a fryer breaks now, they buy a new one.
Right.
Anything goes wrong with it, they buy a new one, because just to get somebody in there to fix it is like $1,200, and a new one is $800.
And the time that you lose during that repair, the downtime of that fryer, is money that you're not going to be making.
And he was talking about the fact that we make $7 a table. So we talked about how many hundreds of tables you need just to repair a fryer. Mm-hmm. So they buy one instead.
Right.
And when you look at automobile repairs, you've seen 46% since inflation started in 2021. 46%. And to get things done, repairs on homes, the same thing, through the roof.
Oh, yeah.
And, and so when you look at the things, we talk about things like food, but everybody needs stuff fixed. And if you want things fixed, It's more expensive than it's ever been before, and that's gone up way more. I mean, you're talking that these, when you talk about getting things repaired, is probably twice, what is it, the 23% that it's gone up overall inflation over the last few years?
Right.
It's double that.
Right. Yeah. This survey from the Federal Reserve released yesterday, it was worse than the broader response. Overall, about 72% of all respondents said they were doing all right financially in 23, down slightly from 73% the prior year. By the way, I saw one headline that said the headline was totally not in line with what the survey said. The headline was something like 64% of all parents said that they were negatively impacted by inflation. And I thought, well, no, everyone is negatively impacted by inflation. It's going to impact every single person. And, of course, they had that wrong. It's this idea of, and by the way, I don't know how they qualify in the survey. I don't know how they qualify doing okay. I mean, are you going to scream to a pollster on the phone or anyone taking a survey, I'm drowning financially?
I really wonder the people that answered that because, look, I'm a single guy and I'm older and I've saved money. And I notice inflation every day and I'm not happy with it.
Right. Yeah, like I said, everybody deals.
Right. So you sit there and you say, yeah, I'm getting by, but I don't like it.
Right.
And I want to vote. I want to vote for whoever's going to stop this because I know it's going to continue and I know what's causing it. That's the thing. Too. Do people know what's causing it? I think they do. I think people understand that the spending is what caused it.
Right.
Because the polls show that people understand. And so, I want somebody who will stop it. I don't see Democrats as stopping inflation or wanting to stop inflation at all because they don't want to cut spending. They want to increase more. And they call it, well, we don't want to. No, we're not going to spend your money. We're going to invest it. Can I invest it on my own? How about you not? I really don't want you to invest it. You're completely clueless. You're Joe Biden. Oh, wait a minute. I've got my money here, and I could do something with it, but I think I should give it to Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. They would know how to invest my money better to get a better return on it than I can get to make a better quality of life for me.
Right.
Do people believe that? You're an idiot if you do. I don't like to name call, but I don't know what other word to use. You're an idiot.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm Joe Biden, and we know the investments in industry. We know where to take your taxpayer dollars and where to put it in failing industries that are going to create jobs, lower prices. If you believe that, you're an idiot. I'm sorry, I don't know what to say. You're a complete moron. I would rather not have my money. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer. These are the kind of geniuses that have basically zero experience in the real business world, and they're telling me that they know how to run the economy and they know how to take, they know what you should be buying and they know how to run the grid, and they're completely clueless. You could get a bunch of seventh graders that would know more than these people. They're idiots, but you're a bigger idiot if you vote for them, believing that they can invest your money better than you can.
Yep. But it is that. But honestly, they're not. They're either morons or they're lying. You're lying for your political, what you believe will be the best political outcome, your political agenda. Anything for, it's like Joy Behar. Well, I'm not going to actually say anything. I think negative things about Biden, but I'm not going to say them out loud. Well, you just did. You just did.
Well, they're afraid of the truth. That's why.
Because she
There's
knows
the
she
truth,
can't
yeah.
possibly say there's nothing negative about Biden. So she has to say, well, if there is anything about negative about Biden, I'm not going to say it because I don't want that to have a negative influence on him politically. Well, you just said it then. You just admitted that you know there's negative things about Biden, and that's all people need to know. You just said it out loud. This is where we are. Just live in a delusional state. It doesn't matter because, I just hate Trump. Or whoever the next GOPer is going to be.
And we mentioned this earlier, and we hope you people in Illinois will feel much safer.
Uh-huh.
Illinois legislators are aiming to change the term offender or criminal to justice-impacted individual.
Okay.
A move Republicans say disrespects victims of violent crime. House Bill 4409 would add the Illinois Department of Corrections representation to the Adult Redeploy Illinois Oversight Board, but it also changes the word offender to justice-impacted individuals.
All right.
Do you feel safer, Illinois?
Yeah.
Well, you know something. It was late last night, and I heard some justice-impacted individuals.
Listen, 911, what's your emergency? Yeah, I've got a justice-impacted individual with a gun in my face. Can you describe the justice-impacted individual? Not without being hit by my DEI director, I can't.
Republicans are saying there's more criminals. There aren't more criminals. Well, sure there are. Look at the crime. No. Those are justice-impacted individuals. Those aren't criminals. Stop that.
Is the justice-impacted individual male or female? I'm not allowed to say that. This is how stupid it's getting.
You just robbed the bank. What are you? Well, I'm a justice-impacted individual.
The first time I became impacted by justice. Impacted by justice.
They probably held a meeting. God, we're really desperate. What can we do? Well, look, if we change the name from criminal
They think it's
to
working.
justice-impacted individual, that will help solve our problems. Everybody in agreement?
Yeah, they had to come up with the name.
Yep. And solar and wind can run the grid. Yep. Please, BS me more. I'm telling you, my 98-year-old father, who I talked to yesterday, is doing great.
Good.
My
My dad's birthday is today. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Happy
Yeah.
birthday, Dad. Happy
Yeah.
birthday.
Oh, good.
My dad was right.
Mm.
People want to be BS'd.
Yeah.
They actually want to be
They do.
BS'd.
By the way, do the gang members stand around saying, hey, we got a new name? Like they're going to put it on their vest. The justice 1% patch on the front, on the back, justice impacted individuals.
No. Okay, I was going to say justice impacted group.
Yeah. Right.
Organization.
Brothers of the justice impacted.
The justice impacted outlaws.
Yes. The 1%ers. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see how that floats.
866-90 Red Eye.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90 Red Eye.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. So, a illegal immigrant who commits a crime in Illinois then would be a temporarily displaced, justice-impacted traveler.
Yes. that's what they would be.
Do they really think words
And
they really think labels in this case make it some type of a difference? I mean, it's just
if they get a job in a restaurant and they use a gas stove to cook, they're going to prison.
Sanctuary City
Listen,
will not cover those.
You use a gun in the commission of a crime, no bail. I'm sorry. Are you using a gas stove? You need to come out with your spatula up. You're going to jail. Going to prison.
Lots of bail.
Lots of bail. No bail for you.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.